The Spoken Token is a proud member of the Pod Studio One podcast network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the big show. I'm Larry Neal.
And I'm Alex Wallace.
And we are the Spoken Token. Mr. Alex, sir, how are you doing?
Oh, Larry, I'm mediocre, you know. I mean, I wanted to start. I started real big, and then I was like, "Well, that's not the. I can't follow that."
Right.
No, I mean, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Very cool. Well, hey, I had a good birthday.
Yeah, and Larry, happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir.
That's amazing.
Me and William Shatner.
Oh, you hung out with William Shatner?
You know what's amazing about that? For me,
wait, you can't leave me hanging. Like, did you literally hang out with William Shatner?
No, we both got the same birthday.
Oh, okay. See, I wasn't making that connection.
He was born on March 22nd, just like I was.
Okay.
The year I was born, he turned 40.
Oh. So that would make him, I'm not going to do the math on the show. So.
He was all over social media with it. He's 90.
Holy cow.
Trust me, that blows my mind. But I thought that was pretty cool. But no, the gaming was fantastic. The Star Trek Hero Clicks were awesome. I got one of the chase figures.
What is a chase figure?
Well, just like the chase cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you get the super ultra mega, there's two of them on the box. I got one of them.
Okay.
I haven't taken a picture of it.
Chase as in like, this is what you're chasing after.
Yeah. Because, it's collectible.
Yeah,
it's Hero Clicks. So I've taken a picture, but I haven't posted it yet. So I guess I'll go on and post it. But I got the alternate universe Geordi. And he's holding like a Gatling gun.
Because Geordi should. Reading Rainbow this. So.
And it's got like a little orange plastic fire coming out. I mean, it's a cool fig. And of course, he's got on, the short sleeve, with the sash around the waist uniform. And it's really cool.
So LeVar Burton is super buff.
Yes, it is awesome. It's an awesome little fig, man.
Read this book, kids.
But that's pretty cool.
Does he still have the visor on, or they have the eyes?
It's the eyes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he has the eyes.
That always creeped me out when he didn't wear the visor.
Yeah, because of I guess the alternate guy didn't wear the visor or whatever. But really, really cool. Of course, I got Dune, which we haven't played yet. Dune Imperium. Bought that one for myself. Man, that Maglev Metro.
Maglev. I've still been thinking about that game,
dude. So
that game is living rent free in my brain.
Mine too.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, Maglev. Like, I mean, we get it. You're allowed to stay, but come on, man, buy some groceries or something.
Right, it is so good. But anyway, it was a really good birthday. I got some things that I've been doing around the house out of the way, so I could actually reopen my table.
Did you?
And so we'll get into some stuff later.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll leave a tease for later.
I hope that there's that one person that really I know what's under the table. I know what's under the table.
Somebody out there.
Yeah, that one person. One person.
Well, tell you what, buddy.
Let's not leave them hanging anymore. Let's go. Get into the show.
Hello, and welcome to the Spoken Token Podcast, episode number 86. This time, Sean Chappell of Ramstar Games stops by to talk about his new Kickstarter, Hivernation, with Alex and Larry. The hosts then cover some games that they're new to them, but they're late to the party with. We talk some current gaming topics, discuss the elephant in the room, and so much more. So, sit back, relax, throw open the shades, and let the sun shine in and turn us up. And let's join your hosts, Alex Wallace and Larry Neal.
And we're back. Thank you guys for being so patient. Well, we previewed it in our intro. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Larry, what was under the table? What's in the box?
We're late to the party.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a bad movie reference. But Larry, so what? Oh, you just now got that? What's under the table? What's in the box? All right, moving on.
So we're doing late to the party. And these are games that are established in the hobby that we're just now playing. And as you said, you're right. It's been under the table for far too long.
This game has been under your table. Now, when we say under your table, ladies and gentlemen, Larry has an amazing handmade gaming table that actually has an eating top that you put on top of it, and then you remove that top, and then underneath is a beautiful...
The gaming vault,
gaming vault. Is that their
That's what they call
term?
them. Yeah, that's what they call them.
That is sweet.
Yeah, cool.
I don't have a gaming vault.
I needed the table topper I knew I was going to need it for a while, so I just covered it up. And I used the table topper until I was finally to the place where I could pull it off again and get in the games. And there it sat for me. I'm glad I left it there. I almost put it up because I knew it was going to be some months before I got back to it.
I mean, it has been months.
So it really literally has. We're not kidding. And I knew it was going to be that long. And that's why I started to put it up. I said, well, it's sitting under the wood. It'll be fine. It's not near where the two pieces come together. It wasn't near the cracks. I said, even if something falls through there, it's not going to hit the game board. I'm going to leave it under there. And I'm really glad I did, especially with all the other new stuff, because I probably would have thrown something else down there. But it was down there. I reread the rule book, jumped into it. Man, have we teased them enough?
I think I just let them know what it is.
This is Freshwater Fly. This one is designed by Brian Suhre, published by Bellwether Games, and it was released initially in 2019. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, and so
man.
So you guys a couple of years ago heard me talk about Freshwater Fly and how I really enjoyed it because I really loved Coldwater Crown, which is Bellwether's previous game. So Coldwater Crown is a fishing competition. Well, Freshwater Fly it's a simulation of fly fishing, and man, I loved that game.
So much that I own his copy.
Right. Well, I enjoyed it so much, but I was in that season where if something does something the same, I have to pick one or the other.
What do you have that plays the same as Freshwater?
I don't remember how that.
You know what? I don't even care. I'm glad
you got it. You got it.
Yeah, I'm glad I got it.
But I knew it was going to you, so it's like if I needed to play it again. But that might be one that's one of the fish that got away.
I'm gonna go into my notes.
All right. Yeah. Absolutely. Tell them what about.
The first thing I can think of, given it just a first thought, is that I really want to play it again right now. And that's the truth, because I played it and then I immediately played another game. It's such a relaxing, pure board game experience. And what I mean by that is that, okay, yeah, you're fishing, and in tried and true classic hobby game fashion, it does deliver just that. And what I mean by tried and true hobby game fashion, man, you're moving stuff, you're sliding stuff, you're flipping stuff, you're dealing cards, you're rolling dice. You do a lot of things. And I know some of the modern design, not all of it, but a lot of it or some of it is moving towards quote unquote less fiddly. I don't think that's a thing. That doesn't bother me, but I get it. A lot of people are pulling into that stuff. This design is not that. This design is steeped in the more classic. You are going to have to touch this game to move stuff around. And I loved every minute of it. But the cool thing about it is that fiddliness, quote unquote, for lack of a better, I need to get a better term than that. That interactivity, that's the term I will use, does kind of mimic fly fishing, because you do a lot with fly fishing. I fish, I don't fly fish. I use bait casters and open face and bait casters. And, with those, you just throw the lure out there. And then depending on if you're trying to stimulate the fish, you may twitch the rod a bit, and do some reeling. But with fly fishing, it's not that, because you're literally trying to mimic the pattern of the insect that you've tied on the end of your line. So there's a method to the madness of whipping the line, and there's a lot going on. You're having to strip line, you're having to adjust your drag. So the game kind of mimics that with all the things you have to keep putting your hands on. Because again, you're sliding stuff, you're moving stuff, you're rolling dice. It's like, oh my goodness, it is so good. The components, guys, I won't say they're generic. They're very well done. They're wood. There aren't any plastic bits. The bits are wood, and then there's cardboard. Cardboard is cut well. Color palette is consistent throughout. The game board, the cards, and the cardboard pieces all have the same color. They did a really good job production-wise. All the wood bits are, like I said, for lack of a term, they're kind of generic. You've got little circles for the hatch things, and then the reel is just a big, beautiful round block of wood. I mean, and that's it. And you're thinking, well, it's kind of generic, and it is, but what they do, they get out of the way, and they let you play the game. And the fact that the materials are premium, that helps you to understand that, okay, this is a little bit different experience. So it kind of lets you get more into the mindset of, I'm standing out in the stream, casting my flies, trying to catch the fish. The mechanics of drifting downstream, casting ahead, taking the dice, playing the solo player game. Did you play solo? I
never played the solo. I always played it by myself, but I never went through the solo challenge.
Oh my goodness, it's so good, because the solo guy, most of the time you're going to roll 4 dice, because you use the track at the bottom to tell you how many dice you're going to roll in for that particular round. And you get 3 dice. You always get 3. And then the solo guy gets the other die. So the first turn, the 5 die is off the board. So that's the one you roll 5 dice. So the very first turn, he gets 2 dice, and he gets to cast them both, and he didn't have to reel anything in. If he hits with the strike cards, he gets the fish and the marker. But for most of the rest of the game, depending on how quickly you move through it, you're only rolling 4 dice. So you're getting 3, and he's only getting 1. But you can pretty much guarantee he's going to catch it. He's not going to miss it. I think the first game I played, he missed 1, because if he misses strikes, he drifts up vertical. And when he starts at the bottom, and when he gets to the top of a row, that's it. His turn is over. So he only has to miss the 3 times. So he can do that. There are 4 cards in the deck. So he did it once in the first game. I was like, oh, I might win. Destroyed me. He didn't miss any in the second game, and I did much better. In fact, I got his score in the second game, but he still did another 20 points better. So he's pretty tough to beat. But, oh, man, just the drift in terms of saying, okay, because you get to pick your dice first. You're looking at the dice. You're looking at the board. You're looking at the hatch. You're looking at your fly, and you get to do all of this. And you're like, okay. Oh, you know what? I want that fish. Probably going to miss the strike deck. He doesn't, but I'm probably going to. So I'm going to cast this row ahead and make sure you drift into it so you get 2 cards. It's just so much. The finesse powers let you mitigate. There's so much about mitigating the dice. And where you roll the dice, really, it fits perfectly in this game because it's literally the decision of where to cast.
Yeah.
Which when you're standing on the bank, whether you're fly fishing or not, it's a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
It's exactly what that is. I'll cast by that cloud on the water.
Yep.
I'll cast by that tree branch. It's just a roll of the dice. So that's the only place where they are. You do use them for actions on your reel, but again, you've got so many different powers you can use to finesse it. And that's exactly what it feels like. You're finessing it. Guys, this one is so good. I'm going to dig into it some more. Me and Alex need to play it together. I want to play a multiplayer now for sure. Man, I played it today. I was super sad I had to pack it up. I had it set up for another game. I was like, I'm going to go on and play game 3 because I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this tour because the way that's set up, the solo play is so compelling that we're playing one location. I'm trying to outfish this guy at this location. And I stay there until I beat him. So, but you're unlocking things. As I'm catching fish, I'm keeping a tally of the fish. As I'm doing other achievements, it gives you the star points. That lets you unlock stuff that literally is going to make me more powerful. So it's going to make me easy. Eventually, you should beat him. Before you fish the whole 7 times in that one location, you probably should beat him. But even if not, still, you're going to be super powerful as you keep moving on. So that just keeps it more interesting. Guys, I can't recommend it enough. If you like fishing, if you like relaxing board games, I mean, yes, it's a hobby board game. And let's admit it, hobby board games do a lot of things that they don't copy one-to-one because they can't because it's a board game. So no, it's not just like fly fishing, but this is the best fishing board game I've ever played. It puts you in the mindset if you just let yourself go there. So by all means, give it a shot. Freshwater Fly by Brian Suhre, published by Bellwether Games, released in 2019. Yeah, I'm late to that party, but man, am I staying. You're going to have to kick me out. I'm not going. I'm not going. That's it for me. Mr. Alex, what game were you late to the party about this time?
I was late to Lorenzo Il Magnifico.
Il Magnifico.
I wish I would have said it like that, but I didn't. Can you say that for me, the whole thing?
Sure.
Yes, go for it. What game was
Lorenzo Il Magnifico.
I really wish that the box would sound like that when you opened it. That would
that would be epic.
That would be really cool. It's like, what? There's a man in this box. It's almost like a commercial. But this is by a lot of names that I don't even know that I can even do justice to. But
I looked up how to pronounce Brian Suhre's last name.
Flaminia, Brasini, Virginio Gigli, and then Simone Luciani. Luciani, thank you, sir. Published by Cranio Creations, co-published by Simone. And
I saw that.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was released in 2016. Now, this is a game that I don't think enough people know about. I know people are aware of it, but man, so I got to play this past weekend. Not as much as I wanted to, but this has classic Euro all over it. I mean, and I mean that in every sense of the way. It feels like those mid-90s kind of like German Euro, or even, I mean, just truly Euros.
Agricola.
Yeah, Agricola and Puerto Rico and San Juan. Just that whole list of games. And the reason I say that is you are placing workers out on a board to acquire cards for your own little tableau. But the way that the mechanic works is, so you have 4 workers. Each worker is associated with a color. You have orange, you have white, you have black, and then you have a neutral color. You roll 3 dice at the beginning of the turn, and however many pips are on the dice can determine where you can go, because there are 4 towers that have 4 different types of cards with 4 different types of levels. There's a level 7, a level 5, a level 3, and I believe a level 1. So if you have a 1 pip on a dice, you can only go to the level 1 unless you spend one of the resources in the game, which are called assistants, which allow you to bump up the value of that dice and put it on there. What I came away with is this game is so airtight. And I know we can say that in like meaning the design is brilliant and like there's no holes, but no, there is zero room for mistakes in this game. Like every decision is the most crucial decision in the game. You can't have a bad turn. Now, some people that may turn them off, and for valid reasons. I mean, sometimes I want a much more forgiving game. What the game asks you to do is really not that complicated. The puzzle of figuring out how to squeak the best out of every turn is really what pushes this to a really great piece. But again, there's like every decision is fighting for resources and like what resources and how to get it so that you can do what needs to be done. There's not things that are like, how do I score more points? It's like, I have to do this or it's going to be real bad for me. And so it's really, really stressful, but it's a good stressful. Now, I will say this. We played it at 2-player, and I think this game at 2-player is more difficult than it needs to be because it covers up some of the spaces. And so there's a loss of a lot of opportunity that is available when you have more players because there's more spots open up. So I think at 3 and 4, this one will kind of just blow me out of the water, and so not like stink or anything. But I think it's gonna be. I think I'm really excited to play this again, and it just is like, man, I really wish that I would have gotten to this a lot sooner because I would have had a whole lot more time to spend with it because there's not a whole lot of cards, and so you see every card every game. So having an understanding of what each card does, like that's one of the strategies that you'll pick up as you play more and more is you're like, all right, I know if I can get this card out, it'll do this. Or if I can't get this card, there's a better option. And knowing what's coming will really help out. So yeah, that's Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Thank you. That was so wonderful. That was.
I'm glad you liked that.
Magnificent, maybe?
Man. We kind of went NPR there for a minute on me. You were all subdued.
I was subdued because like that's what the game made me feel like. It's like it wasn't. I wasn't like, man, this is amazing. But I was like, this is a mature gamer's game. So definitely,
I'm growing up.
Yes, I'm growing up. This segment is sponsored by MathWorks and the people who brought you.
Oh man,
this Fox Searchlight picture.
Oh man,
Pee-wee Goes to Africa.
Okay, all right. Well, there we go.
Oh, Paul Rubens.
He's back.
There he is.
Folks.
Oh, there you are, Peter.
You know what? We better get on to this message from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
We want to thank the sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Van Ryder Games.
Creators of award-winning games such as the single-player Hostage Negotiator and the One vs. Many Detective City of Angels.
You can find their full catalog of games, including their graphic novel adventures, at vanrydergames.com. That's VANRYDERGAMES.com, your FLGS, or wherever you buy your games online.
And we are back. Mr. Alex, we've got a Grand Designs up, sir.
Oh, man.
And you know what's going to happen when we go Grand Designs, right?
It gets grandy.
No, man. No. We talked to designers about the process and what their recent projects are going on, and we talked to them about everything designing games. And this time, we've got a special guest via the internet.
That thing that I've been hearing about lately?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and our friend is Mr. Sean Chappell of Ramstar Games, and he's going to talk to us about his new Kickstarter. Sean, why don't you say hello to everybody, introduce yourself, and welcome
Hello to everybody, and introduce yourself.
And introduce yourself.
I can play gags too. I am Sean Chappell. I am from Ramstar Games. I'm one of a 3-person team. We were actually a game group who decided to get into designing our own games, and we have our very first game, Hibernation, coming to Kickstarter in April.
Ooh. All right, which actually we're gonna jump the rails right now. So you a gaming group who's to say, like, do you just sit around one day and you go, this game is not that good. We could do better than this? And if that is the case, what game was so bad that pushed you to actually wanting to make a better game?
It wasn't a game that was terrible. It was a game that we decided to play at a coffee shop that got us thinking about making our own game.
Oh.
I suppose I can digress. I'll go into it a little bit here. Ultimately, what it is, it was a spoken word game where ultimately I set up a scenario of somebody's death, and the other people had to ask yes or no questions about figuring out how this person died. So essentially, the setup is this. There is a man dead in a telephone booth. That's it. That's your information. How did he die? And you have to ask me yes or no questions to figure out how this man died.
So
Nice.
wait, was this a published game, or is this one you guys just created? Like, I mean, you were like, hey, I'm bored. You want to play a game? Sure. Let me make one up right then and there.
This was something I got introduced to at camp, actually, when I was about 14. One of the counselors did it with all of us kids.
Okay.
He said, here's the scenario, go.
So it's basically just a riddle.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you just have to ask questions about, what's he wearing? Does he have anything with him? This, that, and the other, what are his injuries like? So on and so forth. You have to try to figure out what happened to him. So we did this for about 45 minutes, and we wish that we had been recording it because it would have made a really great podcast. It was just
Super cool.
The insanity of having 4 artists hang out together and shoot these ideas back and forth was hilarious, good fun. So that actually got us thinking about coming up with a party game based on that setup. So you get a series of 20 game cards to ask these questions off of, and whoever is running the game gets the game card. It has the picture on it of what happened, so that all the information is there, and then the other people in the party have to try to guess what happened to this individual. So we started shooting that around as an idea, but ultimately we thought that the replayability of it was pretty much zero, because once you knew what the scenario was, you couldn't really replay it. And even with like a pack of, say, 20 that came as the game, eventually it would get worn out.
Right.
So we shelved that idea, and we went on to Hibernation, which was kind of another idea that had been percolating already.
Okay.
Very cool. Hey, he answered the first 2 questions on my list, so
wow.
perfect.
So there's only 7,000 more to go. What's the name of the guy that does Inside the Actor Studio? He passed away recently, but oh gosh.
You're so far out there. I have
No.
idea.
Oh well, there was on what,
No
like
idea.
Bravo or something. There's a guy, and it's Inside the Actor Studio, and he would sit and he had like the pack of stacks of cards, and he would just ask one after another. Okay, well, for those listeners playing at home,
Yeah, I'm going to move on with the questions.
yeah,
is what I'm
that's
gonna
complete tangent. And Sean, if you haven't figured it out already, this is how this ship is running, my man.
So
That's fine. I love it.
So let's go with another question, Sean. So like I said, you answered the first 2 questions, which is pretty cool. So let me ask you this about Hibernation in particular. Who would you say the target audience is for Hibernation?
For Hibernation, we're sort of aiming at people who are couples, either couples or four player groups, essentially. And we're looking at people somewhere in the range of sort of 25 to 45. It could be men or women. It seems to work very well for either gender, not a problem, or anybody who might be in between. That's sort of our target audience. We're working mostly in North America, of course, because this is where we are. We're based in Canada. So it's sort of our target market is local, and we're looking for people who are interested in more of the 2-player intimate experience strategy games, games that really make you think a bit. Yep. So it's Hibernation is based off of the Othello.
Yeah, and
mechanic,
as we played, that's the kind of the thing that we kept coming back to is like, this is Othello.
Yep.
Or not this is Othello, but I mean, it's just, it has the same mechanic as it with the pincer move. And in this, why don't you, and I mean, we've kind of walked around, Hibernation. Why don't you take a moment and give our listeners your best elevator pitch of like what the game is at its core?
Yeah, ultimately it's a 2-player game or 4-player game. Works very well. And it's worker bees versus drone bees. And ultimately, the idea is that you have to have more of your bee tiles face up. All the worker bees and the drone bee tiles are double-sided. And there are specialty tiles in the game as well. So if you don't want to consistently be taking your opponent's tiles with your own bee tiles, you can spice things up with a flower tile or a bear tile or a beekeeper tile, and so on and so forth. And sort of the idea is to either completely push your opponent out of the game if you can. It's a little tough once things get rolling because, of course, the hive gets pretty big and it's really hard to hit them in all areas at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately you want more of your pieces face up, and that is the person who wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming off of that, which is another question, which is perfect segue. So, okay, why bees?
Oh, well, when I first came up with the idea, I used to be a stainless steel fabricator. That was my day job for 20 years. And a lot of the times I would have a project to put together, but I would be doing it solo. So I had a lot of time to sort of sit and think.
Got it.
And so once we came up with that first idea at the cafe with the macabre 20 questions, which we kind of shelved, I started thinking about some of these other ideas. And I was sitting and doodling on my bench one day when Hibernation kind of came into my head. And at that point, it was just called Swarm. And it was just a whole set of double-sided tiles. And all it was taking your opponent's tiles. That's all it was. It was pretty much Othello in a hexagonal format.
Got it.
And at the time, I didn't even think about that. Although I had a magnetic Othello set when I was a kid, I didn't even think about Othello while I was coming up with this concept. I thought I'd come up with something that was so new.
Man, this is this is like ancient technology. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like one of the oldest games on the planet.
I know that I've seen this somewhere.
I've made a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why has no one ever thought of this?
It actually took a little while for somebody to point it out to me. That's, hey, man, this is kind of like Othello. It's just not in a grid.
Yeah.
But ultimately, as we were working with the mechanic and filling it out, we started with 20 tiles. It wasn't really big enough. So we gave it 20 more tiles and made it 40. And at that point, it got, pretty involved to the point where it could be a half an hour game. We figured that was probably big enough. And then it needed more. It needed a way to defend. So we came up with a defense tile, which ended up becoming the bear. And then we needed some other ways to take your opponent's tiles that was a bit more dynamic because ultimately with the original concept, it was put your tile at the end of a line and flip a line, put your tile at the end of a line and flip a line. And it gets a little bit mundane, a little monotonous. So we added in some other tiles, which would flip tiles in a ring. And so those became the flower tiles. And we wanted a way to sort of assault your opponent and remove their pieces completely from the game. And that became the pesticide tile and so on and so forth. And the whole bee thing really came out of just that grid of hexagons growing on the table. And all three of us in the team, we love bees. We really...
That's not something that, like, you come, like, hey, friend, do you like bees?
It's kind of like, want to buy some bees?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Why didn't you ask sooner? Yeah, Larry, I guess you and I have been together for a long time. I don't know. Do you like bees?
No, man, I don't like bees.
See, I mean, I
love honey, though.
Oh, well, fair enough. There it is. There's Carl. Carl, do you like bees? Oh, he loves it for the honey.
Well, I don't want them to go away. I just don't want to live with them.
So, you're apparently you're better friends than we are because we did not know that piece of information about each other.
Very, very cool. So let's, if you don't mind, let's segue into Ramstar Games, man. Why don't you tell us a bit about Ramstar and how you guys came about? I guess you kind of answered it up around 1 and 2, but yeah, give us a little bit more info on Ramstar Games.
Yeah. Well, as I said, we're a gaming group. So it's myself, my wife, and our good friend Sabrina. We've been gaming for years. We try to get together at least every Friday if we can. And it has been a little tough over the last year, with lockdowns and the rest of it, trying to find that time to get together when it's not illegal, which it sometimes it is. But we got into gaming. It became a regular social thing for us. And it sort of grew out of there, our interest in the gaming, and we're all makers of a sort. So okay. I'm an artist, so all the art in the game is mine.
Very cool.
And by the way, that is I do want to pause you for a second. The art, that the subtlety of the humor, because as I kept sort of looking at the tiles and noticing that they each had like their own kind of beer or beverage or whatever, or it's like, oh, and then I remembered the opening of the story, like, oh, they're all kind of stumbling home after a kind of a get together. I don't remember that. Maybe not the narrative. That may be the narrative that I made in my head.
Oh my goodness.
So it was a bee party, right? It was a bee party, wasn't it?
Well, it's actually the theme of the game is based on actual bee behavior. So drone bees are all males, worker bees are all females, and drone bees are only needed in the spring to mate with the queen and get things rolling.
Yep.
So the hive can keep producing new worker bees.
See, folks, we are an educational podcast. I mean, we don't just talk about games; we talk about biology.
We learn about all kinds of things here.
It's true. We did.
So
we just had the bees talk.
So
I'm so sorry.
So I should have warned you, Sean. Yeah, that's what Alex does. Remember, the question of the moment is, what about Ramstar Games?
and if we could we'll swing back around to the we'll swing back around to the art too. But in any order, in any order.
I'll back up a bit. Ramstar Games, essentially, we decided that if we were going to do this, we were going to do it. It wasn't going to be sort of a hobby thing. We really don't want this to be a one-off.
Sure.
We have lots of great ideas, and the actual process of creating the game and play testing it and getting into the community has been so invigorating. It's been so much fun to do. Sure, there's a lot of work in the back end, trying to set up, we've set up proper bank accounts. We have our business name registered. We have an HST number, which is our sales tax up here in Canada.
Yep.
So on and so forth. So we've done all of that logistical stuff and getting that set up. And we're sort of, we hope to be in this for the long haul. So this is one game. This is our first outing, and we're going to see how it goes. And after this, we have a dozen games lined up.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
My brain never stopped. I never said they were good games. I said they're fledgling ideas. And we hope that
listen. For the majority of the things that are out on Kickstarter now, I mean, if Hibernation is just your starting point, I have great hopes for you guys.
Absolutely.
We definitely hope to grow. We want to be able to do this more because it's fun. Yeah. We really actually enjoy it. As good as I was at being a stainless steel fabricator, because I'm good with these hands here. It wasn't the right job for me. Sure. It was a good job, but it wasn't right for me. And this feels right. And everything that I'm doing, everything that we're doing as we step out, we get into the community and learning a little bit more about game design, because there's quite a bit to know.
Yes.
And learn. There's almost a science. There can be a science to it. I didn't realize this, but they actually have courses.
Yeah. You can get a degree in game design. Yeah.
I
wish I would have known that when I went to college.
Well, it's fairly recent.
Thinking about signing up for some of those courses just to learn a bit more, because I love learning as well. So that's kind of where Ramstar Games is and sort of came out of. And we're really hoping to do this quite professionally eventually.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Well, let me ask you this. This is so Larry and I kind of, as we were playing, and I guess the elephant in the room, if you will, what sets Hibernation apart from what is almost, a quintessential, ubiquitous title of Hive, which is a game based. Are you familiar with this game?
I know of it, but I've never played it.
Okay, so it is essentially a group. You have a queen bee, and you have hexagonal. Basically, they're like domino chips because they're good and thick, and so they're not cardboard.
Yes.
But then each different type of what are you shaking your head at me?
Yeah, you're good.
What did I do?
You being Alex.
Oh, what did I do? But basically, you have different insects, not just bees, but different insects. They move around. So it takes me a while to get to where I want to go.
I was worried. He was like, well, it's not just the bee. There's other insects.
Yeah, there's multiple other insects. So this is an opportunity because it's here in the States. Hive is like I said, it's pretty ubiquitous. It's pretty. It's lots of places. And I know after playing Hibernation, they are not the same game.
Right. I was going to say, I can say, once we played it, and when what you said a moment ago, and you're like, hey, I've not played Hive, that's very, very clear. I mean, it's kind of we've got the answer in playing Hibernation to your question, but it is good to hear from
So
Sean
saying that, how would you, like, I don't even know now I've said it.
Well, I mean, he hasn't played it though.
Yeah, that's true. And you haven't played it. So I thought I was asking a very journalistic, like, ooh, hard-hitting journalism right here. And apparently I answered my own question by saying it when I went, oh, we played it. It's not the same game. So guess what, sir? You're out of the hot seat because I can say here and now, like they do completely different things. So good talk.
From what I can understand, from what people have told me about Hive, with the different insects, each one moves differently.
Correct.
And that Hive is kind of more like a chess style game. You know, this piece hops over that piece, or this piece circles around.
Yeah.
Or you can only do so much. You know, this one stays outside and that one stays inside, and something of this nature. So I think from that perspective, I think all the mechanics will be quite different. Although, like in our game, the goal isn't to surround the queen. That's actually, you need in our game, you need to attach to the queen in order to sort of build the hive.
Very good.
But that's not the end goal. The end goal is to have more of your bees in the hive by the end of the game, so that you dominate, as it were.
Oh, and honestly, that's the exact conclusion we came to after we played it, because we actually had quite a lengthy conversation about that after we playing, because after playing Hibernation, we were instantly smitten and like, okay, this is absolutely needs to be on shelves.
Yep.
But we were thinking like, oh man, but then you have you're so close in name and art/theme. You know, it was just like, what? Well, how do we get the word out to distinguish between the two? But yeah, I think your analogy, and I don't want to say Hibernation is like checkers, because but checkers has a lot of actual strategy to it. But
it does.
Yeah, and so Hibernation is a lot more. I
like the Othello.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Othello is the best way to. It's what it's most analogous to.
Right.
So all of that to say,
some of those games with the sort of a very simple mechanics, things like checkers, chess, Othello, Go. I mean, people. I know that chess has got this huge romance around it, and we just saw Queen's Gambit hit Netflix and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You know, it's got this huge history behind it. But when you look at chess, there's actually only 7 unique pieces in the entire game.
Yep.
And the mechanics are very similar. You know, the rook and the bishop are the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So they all kind of move in similar ways and so on and so forth. So there's really not actually a lot to chess. It's just how you put those pieces together creates your strategy and how you play your game. And that can be actually a lot tougher. I find that to be a lot tougher than giving people 30 options or 50 options.
Right.
Something like Jaws of the Lion, you know, the Gloomhaven, where you've got 10 different cards and they do all kinds of things, and there's stuff you can put on the board, and you can use the magic, and you can do something else, and I can move, and I can fly, and I can that is almost easier because of all the options.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas something as simple as Go, where there's really put a piece down, flip things, put a piece down, flip things. That's about that's as deep as Go gets, or Othello, or any of those types of games. That can almost be tougher, because of the limitation of.
Well, and actually, Larry and I found ourselves playing Hibernation, like sitting, like staring at the table, going, "All right, if I flip this one and this one does this," I mean, and just kind of.
You have to think about the moves.
Yeah, and you know, because at first it was like we were just kind of lulled into by the simplicity of like, oh well, flip and then flip and then flip. But then it was like, well, we even kind of identified the. If you might flip a really long row, but if there's still one piece at the end, the opponent's going to just come right back and grab it, and get that back from you. And so that's almost a deterrent of like, that's not even worth my time.
Yeah, certain moves. No. Yeah,
and that's one of the tough things in the game for when you're trying to say completely obliterate your opponent and get them right out of the game, is that you almost can't do that. You have to leave little pieces of them in the hive so that they can't just come and take back what you already took from them.
Right.
Yep.
So it's one of those, how much are you going to take and how much are you going to leave in order to win, but not set them up to succeed before you, and that can be tough. That's part of that strategy, as you say. You have to sort of really pick and choose your moves, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, very cool. We want to move on to.
You want to do well, I have a game for him really quick, and then you can play your game.
Okay.
Because I mean, based on your, so we typically with our guests,
Every guest gets to play a game.
Every guest gets to play a game, and I have a game for you. It's based off.
We get to play 2 games.
We're gonna play 2 games. You're gonna you are the most special guest because you get to play 2 games.
Well, he's our first via the internet
This
guest,
is true.
so why not?
Via this new fancy
This
thing
is special.
called the internet. Granted, that's how we actually publish our podcast, so that joke goes nowhere for me.
I wasn't talking about from that standpoint.
Yeah, it was fair enough.
I just saying because he's here first.
That's true. That's true. All right. So here's game number 1. Okay. There is a man in a cabin strapped to a chair. Okay. He is dead. How did he die?
What, really?
There's a man in a cabin.
You stole his game?
There's a man in a cabin strapped to a chair, and he is in the middle of the woods. I need to add that. He's in the middle of the woods. Okay. How did he die?
All right. How did he die? Is this man dressed?
Yes.
Is the chair made of wood?
No. That was a good question.
Is the chair is he tied to the chair with a rope?
No.
Is it a car seat?
No. But in
Okay.
the essence of time, I will say it is similar to a car seat, but it is not a car seat.
All right. Okay.
And then I have
Strapped in.
the picture of like he's in a baby car seat.
Yeah. Is it a seat from a vehicle?
It is a seat from a vehicle.
All right. Is it an ejected jet pilot?
Ah, you're close enough, sir. He was in the cabin of a plane. It was a plane crash in the middle of the woods. So
Well,
I was getting there.
yeah, absolutely. Well done.
that was dark. We're not playing that game no more.
But that's exactly like that's the game that got him started. We might have just like let
This was for Sean.
some kid may have heard that and go, oh, I want to make board games now.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So now the game that we normally play, Sean, we have a segment where we do our top 3 list, man. We don't play around with top 5s or top 10s. There's too much fluff in there.
And we're just too lazy. So
No, we're not too lazy. There's too much fluff. We just cut to the best 3 things. So we're going to do a top 3 list.
Sean and his cat.
I love it. And this time we always pick a certain topic, and it's not just good, but super good list.
So we've practiced that. You can see, can't you? It's adorable, right?
It's good.
It's adorable.
Synchronicity.
So what we're going to all participate. We'll start with you. We want your top 3 games. We'll give you a few seconds to think about them. They don't have to be in any order, but your top 3 games that have tiles in them. So they can either be the board or tile pieces that you lay down. Either one. We'll give you a few seconds.
I'll start.
Oh,
I'll
Alex
start.
will
Yeah, again, in no particular order. All right, I'm going to go with Zia, Legends of Adrift.
Nifty.
So, Sean, are you familiar with this one?
No,
Okay.
I do not know that
So
one. Sure.
basically what it is you actually are a space pilot, and it's a sandbox game. So you go off exploring the galaxy, and as you move, you actually put tiles down that become new systems, and you can be a freighter, you can be a pirate, you can be a police officer, and so there's numerous paths to victory and or legend points. But that's mine. Larry, what is one of your favorite tiling games?
One of my favorite games that has tiles in it, not necessarily tile laying, would be
No, it's true.
good old-fashioned Heroescape.
Heroescape. Okay, yeah, those are tiles. Those are tiles.
Mr.
All right.
Sean.
You're in the hot
My
seat.
Yes,
turn?
Yeah.
sir.
Sorry, I
Give us
did dead air there. My apologies. I actually got introduced to hex tiles through Takanoko.
Oh,
So I actually really enjoy Takanoko. It's not too complex. You lay down the tiles as you go and create bamboo forests, and the panda eats the bamboo.
panda, and that panda is so cute.
The Gunner, they are actually. I've seen the bigger version of them. I don't know if it's Funko or not, but you can get a large version of,
Right, yeah, deluxe
of the
edition,
panda.
yeah.
It looks just even better.
Yeah. Well, and just
So that would
the thought that they went in to creating the bamboo trees and how those components and the stackability of that.
Yeah.
So
I've never. I keep thinking that. What did we pick up the other day? We picked up Spirit Island the other day. We borrowed that from the library.
Very
and
cool.
There's these little wooden huts. I
Yes.
believe that they are. That
Yes.
symbolize the native culture that live in the island. And I swear that they're little pin dowels that you would find at IKEA for plugging screw holes or something. They look like just something you would find at the Home Depot.
They really do.
And I love that. That's great. That'll work, And Takenoko, I mean, it has very unique bamboo pieces in it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Your second one.
My
Alex.
second one, I'm going to have to go with the game that actually got my wife into gaming, and that is the Granddaddy Carcassonne. So Carcassonne is still one of the most played games in my collection. I still can't win at it. It doesn't matter if I'm playing my 8-year-old or if I'm playing my wife or some person who I've just taught. I just can't win. But the problem is that I always rush to the farm. And I'm like, oh, farm. And then they're like, why did you do that? And then it turns into this farm coal war, and they get a farm, and then I get a farm. And then I always lose because I don't have any people because I just try to farm. Have you played Carcassonne?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I've heard of it though.
Okay, it is an absolute classic.
Yeah, if you get a chance, definitely stop by that one.
Yeah, that's it's one that I would recommend being in everyone's collection, like genuinely, because it has that great balance of incredibly meaty choices, but also easy enough for anybody to learn. So,
right.
All right.
That's great.
Larry,
Super cool.
You're number 2.
Yes, sir. Number 2 for me is one that we haven't talked about a whole lot before. It is Dungeon Twister.
Dungeon Twister.
Which it's got a very unique premise. A mad wizard has captured a bunch of heroes from around the realm, and he's built a magic dungeon, and he's putting them in the dungeon, and it's a tournament. And the winner gets to live, basically. But what's going on, the unique thing about Dungeon Twister is that they're big square tiles. They're huge. And just as the name says, one of the mechanics in the game, if you get to the center of the room and expend points, you can turn the room.
Oh, cool.
So that changes where the doors are. So you maybe can block off monsters. You can maybe block off the people behind you because you're trying to do something against the other player. You guys aren't really necessarily fighting each other directly because there's monsters there and other obstacles. But it's a really neat game that's kind of all skill based. It's 1v1. They're on their second edition now. First edition actually did have a 5 and 6 player expansion, so you could play to 5 and 6 people, which I own. But you hardly ever really got that many people together. It's a really good 1v1 game. So that is Dungeon Twister, my number 2. Mr. Sean, to you, sir.
Yes. My number 2, one that we really enjoy playing and one that I think is quite unique in its app tie-in is Mansions of Madness.
Oh, that was in my little list. Yeah. That's
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad that you said it because that means I didn't have to say it. So.
Yeah. We enjoy playing that one. I am a little disappointed that the game doesn't come with more scenarios.
Yeah. It runs out real quick.
It does, yeah. For a $100 game, it comes with a lot of stuff, but it doesn't come with a lot of gameplay.
Right.
So that I find a little troubling. But we have played it many times because some of the scenarios are extraordinarily tough. Trying to get through them.
Oh yeah.
You do get to play it again and again and again.
You kind of have to.
That's I actually really like the way that they reposition the tiles and reuse them.
Mm-hmm.
That gives me ideas for how to formulate other games, for the reuse and replayability.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. Nothing like playing a game you enjoy and getting inspired for your own, design process, either while you're playing the game or maybe later when you're sitting down with the pad and paper and it hits you and you're like, oh, wait. And then you can, how can I implement that? And you can start where you just played it because that grabbed you. And then you get to put your own spin on it. Yeah, that's when you were talking about invigorating, that's one of the things about design that kind of deals with the monotony of just sitting me alone in the computer working on design. Those moments are fantastic. I absolutely love those moments when I can pull something from a game. So that's pretty cool. Whose turn is it? I got lost.
You got lost.
I got excited about game design.
You got excited. All right. Mine is, my last one, again, these were in no particular order, is the number 9. So what this is it actually, the tiles are in the shape of the numbers 0 through 9.
I remember that.
Yeah, I know. It's fair enough. But and they are done in blocks. So they're almost look like Tetris pieces. And what you'll do is you have a stack of cards.
I'm so bad at that.
Yeah, it's absolutely a puzzle game. It's absolutely a puzzle game.
I am terrible. I'm thinking about the time we played. I was awful.
Yeah,
but the third game was like, we don't think Larry knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no. He's like, I can count to 9. But ultimately, what happens?
Sorry, but I was so bad.
Is you'll flip over a card. It shows the
goodness.
number, and then you have to use that to build. And they have some placement rules. But then you're actually kind of building essentially a pyramid. And if it's touching the table, that you get 0 points. Now, if it's on level 1, whatever the number is, you multiply that by 1. Then if you get it to a second level, you multiply that number by 2, and then a third level, and so on. And it's
so many zeros.
So many zeros. But it's difficult because it is a puzzle, but it's so ingenious in that how design-wise, like the pieces are the tiles and the shape, and then how you use them and interact with them. I really recommend that. It's not for everybody, as Larry can attest to. I'm
an avowed puzzle.
Yeah, you hate the puzzle.
Not like her. So
you hate the puzzle.
That's just me. So by all means, Sean, try it. Don't not try because of me. I don't like puzzle games.
That's fair. No worries.
My number 3, in no order. This one we have talked about before. Is Kings of Air and Steam. Gameland Games.
You've talked about this a lot.
I love that game. Absolutely love it.
I still never played it.
I will admit, with some of the lists, I wanted to pick games that I really do like that we hadn't talked about. But the first thing that came to mind when this came up, because I'm looking at, Sean's game, and we're going to have Sean on, and his game is tile-based, so I'm trying to make the game something that won't be too far off, since he only finds out about it when we tell him. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hit him with something that's going to make him like, oh my God, I need Google and I need a dictionary. I don't want to do that. So I said, we can do games with tiles in them. It's the first thing that popped in my head. Was Kings of Air and Steam. And I tried to make a list without it, but it snuck its way back on there. So basically you're running, it's steampunk themed, and you're running both a railway and a blimp, a steampunk blimp, and you're moving cargo. And you're trying to move cargo between warehouses and along your train line to deliver them to various different cities that need them. What the cities need changes, because when you fulfill a city, you take a tile off and that flips and changes what they need. So you've got several different avenues. You can upgrade your rail line, you can upgrade your blimp. There's so many different ways you can do it, but the game, you literally only have 25 moves. That's 5 rounds. Really, by the time you get your engine going, that one's over, but it doesn't overstay its welcome because of that. You always want to play a little, oh no, wait, I just got my engine going. But then you check the scores, and normally the scores are pretty close, and you had a great time, and you weren't sitting there for 4 hours. Because it is a lot. Nice. You're running both, the blimp and a rail. You're building out a rail line. It is a lot. And when you teach new people, normally they start, even gamers are like, dude, no way, man, hold on. Both? No, not both. One or the other was, no, just stick with me. So the way they've put that one together is really well done. And of course, it has tiles in it. And so that is my number 1, Mr. Sean. Your number 1.
Nice.
Sir.
Yeah. My third game is actually one that I haven't played yet, but I really want to play, cool. Which is Forbidden Islands. Oh. I haven't. I've seen it many times, and I think that there's more than just the
Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, and then Forbidden Sky. Yeah, and actually, Forbidden Island is one of the first games that I ever purchased on my own, like for my family. And so.
Yeah, I've seen playthroughs of it, and I've seen the setup of it, and I've actually noted it at my library. I can actually go borrow it if I want to try it. But I've never. I love the premise of it. I love the idea that as you're moving through the island, things are disappearing behind you. It's kind of got that Indiana Jones feel that you're on the run, and there's only so much time before you're in the drink yourself. So. That I'm gonna put that down as my number 1. It's on the list.
That's
I haven't
great.
done it yet.
That's fair. Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
I will say in the order of complexity, Forbidden Island is the easiest of the 3.
It is.
Then Forbidden Desert is kind of the intermediate level, and then Forbidden Skies is the is kind of, I wouldn't say expert level. It and Forbidden Desert are kind of the same.
I say Desert is a little meaner than Skies.
You think so?
Yeah,
okay.
I've played them both. I bought Sky for my siblings.
Okay.
And we played it at Christmas. We lost. It's got a lot more going on.
Okay.
In some instances in Desert, but I think overall Desert is less forgiving.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah.
I think Desert is the least forgiving of the 3.
But they are cornerstones of the, kind of the board gaming.
It's a solid series.
Board gaming renaissance of the last 15 years.
Absolutely.
So you're not going to go wrong playing those games. And actually they're easily taught as well. And so like to new gamers, and the great part about it is it become that co-op experience of, man, I really think we should like, it's not a you should go, it's a we should go, which I think is
Right.
is a cool kind of pronoun to put in there. So
Teachers.
yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. It's been a day. So,
Well, Mr. Shaw, we want to definitely thank you for coming and spending some time with us. If you don't mind, man, why don't you let everybody know how they can get in touch with you and what you've got going on? I know we've talked about it, but let's put a little tag on the end of it here to cap it off for you.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to come see what we're up to, we're, of course, available online at ramstargames.com. That's our main website. You can find out all kinds of information there about Hibernation. And if you feel like signing up for our newsletter so we can carry on with that conversation, then please do so. Outside of that, of course, our Kickstarter is coming up. And if you'd like to sign up for our pre-launch page, you can do that off of our website as well. There's a link there for that. And we will be going live on April 13th. So if you want notifications, that's the best way to get them. And then ultimately, we're on social media everywhere. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're working on Reddit, all the social medias, we're everywhere. So
Discord?
You can find us. Yeah, we have our own private Discord right now. We haven't opened it up to others. It's just for our development at the moment. But of course, I am on Discord as Big Red. That's my handle. You can find me on the Quackalope Discord if you want to join it there. That's actually a pretty robust community of designers and gamers having a lot of fun and just kind of being goons online. And yeah, that's where you can find us. Just find Google Ramstar Games. You'll find us.
Sure. Excellent. Well, hey, Sean, we are so grateful for your giving us your time and
reaching out. I really appreciated you reaching out to us. So I'm glad we got a chance to do this. We'll have to do it again.
It's my pleasure. I mean, yeah, I'm happy to talk, and this is part of that community that I was talking about earlier. That just the invigoration of the enthusiasm of people in this community is awesome, and it's I won't say it's necessarily intoxicating, but it's certainly something that you want more of. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So, thank you. You've done me a great service by letting me get to know you.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's a service or not, but you will definitely be different.
Well, we will be. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on your Kickstarter. We'll make sure to get it out to everybody. We'll be looking out for you on April the 13th. And sir, you have a great evening. And like I said, we'll catch up with you soon after a successful Kickstarter campaign. How about that?
Yes, we will definitely. We'll talk to you on the other end when you are the most famous non-B guy. There, I got nothing. But we wish you the best of luck. So,
thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, everybody, and welcome back in. Mr. Alex, you know what? Sometimes we don't have a choice around here. You just got to talk about the elephant in the room.
You do. And I hate the shamed look that he gives us every time we do talk about him.
Well,
but he's here, and we can't ignore him.
Yeah, no, we can't ignore him. We got to call it out. And this time in this segment, the elephant in the room, basically the topics that just have to be talked about. And we've got a pretty interesting one this time, Mr. Alex. Why don't you give us some background and catch us up?
Well, I don't know how much background I can give other than if you're a board gamer and you've been on the internet, there has probably been someone who has said something about a particular person's post of like, hey, look at this new game I got. And then inevitably you will have a person say, why are you playing that game? That game is trash. Or why not play this other game? And this culture of elitism and or shaming people for enjoying any title whatsoever is getting out of hand. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. Unfortunately, the internet amplifies people's voices. Then everyone's opinion can become the only opinion at certain points, or at least, in their eyes. And so we want to just kind of address someone who we look up to here at the Spoken Token, and that is the guys over at Watch It Played, specifically Rodney. He actually was responding to a post. I think it was at Twitter, Larry, that he was responding to.
Yes.
But someone had posted like, why do people have to be so negative when someone's just expressing about their love for a particular game? And Rodney responded, yes. And then a couple of hours later, he actually came back and posted a video where he gave.
Yeah.
I basically want to say it's like a visual essay.
Yeah, it's only like 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay.
I mean, I know it was off the cuff, it was, but it was so well put. It was so succinct, and it's basically like you said. It's what he said. It's like, listen, I mean, one of the big things I should say this. I don't want to paraphrase him. First of all, we're going to link it in the notes. I'm going to link the video. If you're not listening to Watch It Played, you should be at the very least checking them out somewhat. If you're listening to us, this video you definitely should go and check out, even if you don't follow him. You should give him a follow, but absolutely you should go and listen to this one. But one of the big things that he said, listen, there's a difference between if someone is soliciting your advice, if they're saying, hey, I'm thinking about getting this one, what do you think, good or bad? That's different. If they're asking you for your opinion, then yeah. But if, like he said, if someone went and spent their hard-earned money on a game and they're excited about it and they're literally just putting it up on social media, putting it on their Instagram or their Twitter or whatever and say, hey, look at this game I got. And then you can't wait to jump in there and go, oh man, yeah, that's garbage, basically. Or, this is bad. Don't play that, play this, play something else. You're basically telling them you wasted your time, you wasted your money. You should be doing this game simply because you individually like it. And yeah, don't be doing that. Let's be aware. I can't say honestly that I've never done it. I probably have. And I definitely, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I 100% agree with everything he's saying. And I'm going to make sure in the future that I'm 100% not doing that, because I totally agree with the sentiment. That's not why we're here. We talked about this a few episodes ago with the whole thing with NLab Games. I remember why we're here. We're here for community and to play games. Somebody's happy with their game and they're celebrating. Celebrate with them. If you can't celebrate with them, swipe right.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Just move. Keep moving.
There's no reason to jump in there and rain on it just because for that individual, you don't have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that people don't want to understand. It's the answer for you, and you're right. It may be the answer for people. He pointed to every game on the shelf in his picture. I could point to every game on the shelves in mine. There's somebody out there that hates all of these. None of them are right for me.
Mm-hmm.
They're all right for them, and that's great. I don't have a problem with it. But they're not right about it being a bad game or that it should be hated as far as I'm concerned. So just bear that in mind and remember why we're here. And I think for me, again, the biggest takeaway for me, listen, if you can't celebrate with them, man, just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Move along.
Absolutely.
Move along. Again, if they ask you, then there you go. All of this, we're not talking to you.
Right.
If you answer them when they say, well, what do you think? There you go. There's your license. If you don't get that, what do you quote unquote think? Don't give me your opinion.
And honestly, if you want to share your opinions about board games that much, like start a podcast. Like get out there, start writing reviews and then let people come to you for their for your opinion. And like I encourage you, if you have very strong feelings about a game, but just to get online and to shame someone so that they can either, think the way that you think or for any other reason, it's just silly. And now then that goes into a whole other realm of, social media and all the other things too. But guys, be kind. Just be kind. That's it. Just love everybody. So, or even no, you don't even have to love everybody. Just, you know what? If you don't love somebody, you don't have to tell them. You don't have to say that.
Again, because what are we here for? We're here for games.
Yeah.
We're here for games. So we're not talking life. I know people.
And and that person who posted that is not asking you to play that game.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
They're not
they're excited and they're looking for other people to be excited.
They don't even
just
know
want to
you.
share their excitement.
They don't know you.
Right.
And so they're not calling you over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we wanted to talk about it. I feel like Rodney put it really, really, really very well. Everything that he said, I 100% agree with. The link's going to be in the show notes if you're not aware of it. If you wait when you're listening to this, if you don't want to go and search it, it's not hard to find under Watch It Played, but it will have the exact link. So if you want to just hit our show notes, I'm linking right to it. Go and listen to it. Give it a good listen. Yeah. Good stuff. Absolutely. Short segment on our part. It was short on his part. Very succinct. Didn't belabor the point. Sir, I think we can move on. Or can we?
Uh-oh. This is the part of the show where Larry does something that I didn't either A, read, or B, know what he's talking about, or C, am not prepared for at all.
That's the whole show, man.
No, I prepare a little bit.
Tell you what. Let's take a break.
Okay.
All right, everybody, and welcome back. Hey, Alex.
Larry, you have that look in your eye.
Yes, man. Guess what we're going to do?
Oh, no. Are we creating another segment and I am not ready for this?
Oh, no, that's a good idea. But no,
Okay.
we got a serious contest running.
What?
Yes, sir. We're sponsored by our good friends down at Game Point Cafe. Got an amazing prize to boot.
Our prize is a boot.
No, man.
Oh.
No.
I did feel a bit Canadian there after talking to Sean. A boot. Sean, if you're still listening to us, you were an awesome guest, and I meant no offense by that. So, Larry, before I ruin any kind of relationship we have with America's Hat,
We about to-
what is our contest? Sir?
So our contest starts April 1st, which is the day that you're listening to, that everyone's going to be listening to this. It's the day that we release.
That's awful optimistic of you.
And we are going to, the prize, I'm going to tell you about the prize in a minute, but let's tell you about what you got to do to enter.
Okay.
All you have to do to enter, we want a picture of you playing your favorite space-themed board game on Instagram, and we need you to tag us at the Spoken Token Podcast. That will get you your entry. Okay?
What if they own multiple space-themed games?
Multiple space-themed games. We're gonna for now, we're gonna say one entry per game.
Per person?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Per person. Yeah, I'm saying not per game.
Per game. So, well, if someone got to Race to the Galaxy first, sorry, friend, you're out of luck.
The weirdness got to me. I got lost for a minute. Whoa, Horatio.
The ratio, bug.
One entry per person.
One entry per person.
So again, we got to have you playing your favorite space-themed board game. Tag us at the Spoken Token Podcast to enter. That's all you have to do. You don't have to follow us. Just tag us with this picture. The prize is amazing. The prize is the limited edition Luke Skywalker from Star Wars Legion.
This is a cool figure, folks.
That is near impossible to get right now for less than shelling out some serious money.
Absolutely, and it's Luke in his Hoth jumpsuit.
Yes,
standing on this mountain of snow with his lightsaber and his helmet.
Right, and currently, because of our shipping situation, it's unfortunately limited to North America only.
That's true. We can't do the Suez Canal, folks. So
wow, too soon.
Too soon. They got him unstuck.
Yeah,
he's unstuck.
The other day, it's free. By the time they hit us, the traffic will be halfway through.
Halfway through.
It's too soon, man. Too soon.
Sorry, poor little freighter.
But anyway, again, that is going to be going on. But concurrently, for those of you in the Middle Tennessee or Nashville area, during the month of April, Game Point in Nashville is also offering our listeners the Spoken. That's you guys.
That still freaks me out when we call people that.
A discount.
The Spoken. We're the Spoken.
No, but nobody says it like that but you, man. You're going to get a discount of 10% for any in-store or curbside pickup only. Okay, so you've got to go in the store and get it or do the curbside pickup that they're doing. So it's for physical purchases there. And it's off 10% off any game in stock.
Absolutely,
You just have to use the code TOKEN10.
Oh, that's so cool. We have our own promo code there.
I know I was trying to get it to be the Spoken, but I guess that was Token.
No, it's okay. But Spoken, then I think he has other people. I think they have a poetry night and they get 10% off something.
That's what I'm going to say. It was taken. Yeah. Spoken.
Sorry.
I think Spoken was taken.
Yeah.
But TOKEN10. So Token 10, the word token, the number 10, all together one word.
And this is not Tolkien, folks.
It is Token.
The way you just said that added an extra L.
I know.
It's Token, TOKEN 10.
Right.
Token 10. That's 10% off.
10% off.
Of any board game purchase. And the great thing about Game Point, if you are local, is that he can special order anything.
Pretty much, yeah.
As long as it's available and not on a freighter ship stuck in the Suez Canal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So.
There we go with that again.
Well, that's exciting. 2 really cool opportunities for everybody.
Yes.
To enter the contest for a free limited edition Luke Skywalker Legion Commander and 10% off board games. I mean, who doesn't love that?
I mean, come on.
But unfortunately, if you're not in the Nashville area, Game Point does not have the capacity to ship now,
right?
But maybe soon.
And traveling is not, of course, still wide open.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
if you're in the area, then by all means use it.
Yeah, Mom, my birthday's coming up. This is what you should do.
But there you go. And again, picture of you playing your favorite space-themed board game. Tag us on Instagram at the Spoken Token Podcast to get your entries. So 1 entry per person. We will count those. The contest starts April 1st.
It runs through the end of the month.
We will announce the winner and get your special edition Luke Skywalker on the way to you in the mail. Mr. Alex.
Yes, sir, Larry.
I think that's wow.
That is wow. I loved how you kind of Shatnered there for a second.
Well, I mean,
with the pause. I mean,
our birthday is out.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned that before.
No, not at all.
So
you know what's funny? I didn't find out until I was like 45. 5 years ago. I was like, wait, what? He's born on the same day. That's amazing.
And then he called, and he hasn't returned, and it's like, wait, hey, Bill, where are you?
So no, but that's pretty cool. But hey, guys, we want to thank you for coming out, spending time with us. Again, we want to thank Mr. Sean Chappell. And guys, don't forget to check out Hibernation on Kickstarter April the 13th. And so for the Spoken Token, this is Larry. So keep communicating.
And this is Alex Wallace saying, keep playing. This has been the Spoken Token Podcast. If you'd like to interact with us, please contact us through email at thespokentokenpodcast@gmail.com, on Instagram at The Spoken Token Podcast, on Twitter at The Spoken Token, or on Facebook at The Spoken Token Podcast. And you can reach us through our BGG Guild, number 2656.
You are listening to a Pod Studio One Podcast Network podcast. Find more great podcasts at www.podstudio1.com.